Hey everybody, so now we're going to take a look at the outside of our property. That's our mailbox, and this is our road, and now we're looking at our house and barn from the road. So it's nice that it's set back a little ways. And then we have one neighbor right next door. It's a gravel road. And about the last 2 miles of driving in is all gravel, though the road's in really good condition. And then our driveway has had fresh gravel just put on it by the previous owners, which is really, really nice. And they've done a really good job of keeping the leaves off of the driveway. So you can tell they've been taking care of it. Lots and lots of trees. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like when everything leaves out. And when I look at the leaves on the ground, they are primarily oak leaves. So we'll get a better feel for that once the leaves are leafing out, but it looks like we're going to have lots of oak trees. And then we've got a nice circle drive. We have one woman living in this house right next to us, and she seems really nice. The propane tank on the left that you see right here is the one that fuels the house. And the silver propane tank that's right next to the house is the one that fuels the generator. So that is a dedicated tank just for the generator in case we lose power, which is super nice. It is early March here at the time of this video. We've got daffodils blooming, which is just lovely. And then just this large parking area. And then to the left, those piles of rocks, that's the top of the storm shelter. And here we're heading to the garage. And it is really big. Our house is 1,700 square feet, and the garage is 1,500 square feet. So it's almost as much space as the house. And that was a really big selling point for us because we knew we'd be moving into like a smaller house, but having this big storage space will allow us to have anything that we need and be able to store it. So it's got 2 extra large single doors. And they both have garage door openers, which is so exciting because our current garage is a 1-car tiny garage with no opening at all. So this is very exciting. We're also really excited to be able to park our cars inside. We've never been able to do that, so we know that's going to really help prolong the life of our cars, and that's really exciting too. And this is just a big open space with some rooms in the back. We'll have lots of room to store gardening stuff and kayaking stuff and pottery kiln and just, all the things that we want and probably extra. I could not figure out how to open up this garage door at all. There was no button or access that I could find, so I know we'll have to get some garage door openers and get those programmed so that we can get it to work. And this garage definitely needs some work. I don't think it's seen a whole lot of maintenance. It does have a small bathroom. And then it has some, oh, it's got this little tiny workshop room. Somebody left behind a nice saw. And then we've got this finished off room, or semi-finished off, I guess I should say. Those pipes were a vacuum system to pull out like sawdust from woodworking materials or tools. So Bob and I are thinking of making this into an exercise room. After some cleanup and a fresh coat of paint and all those things, yes, there's a scary fridge with a mystery liquid and some old beverages. And then there's this other little side room. So all of the windows of the garage look out on the lake and do have a really nice view as well. Lots of space in here, along with a really pretty view. All right, now we're going around the outside perimeter of this building, just so that I have a record of what it looks like before we do anything. And you can see it definitely needs some work. We've got some busted out windows. The door on the front by the windows doesn't open at all. One of our property lines runs right on the other side of this barn. So like right now where I'm standing with the camera, I'm on the neighbor's property. So the property line runs right along here. Here is our storm shelter. The previous owner told me that it's called the Hobbit House because it kind of looks like a place where a hobbit would live. It's about 5 feet wide and about 16 feet deep. Cinder block and cement construction. It's definitely damp in here. You know, part of me is like, ooh, would this be a good root cellar? Maybe. But we really need to outfit it for emergency situations, so that's the plan. In my mind, I can see all kinds of pretty flowers in these beds around it. I think it could be really cottagey and cute, and I think that'll be fun to play around with. I did throw in some zinnia seeds before I left, just in case, you know. I'm not going to get a lot of gardening in this year, so I have to squeeze it in wherever I can. It's got like a cement roof, but then it's got this plastic ceiling material over it that's kind of falling off a little bit, so we're going to need to rework that. Make sure that's fastened and secured, and then get some more something to cover it up so that it looks more attractive. They've got mulch on here right now. So this is, I think, a fun area that I will enjoy, just making it look really cute and sweet and fun. It's got some potential, that's for sure. And now we're going to go around the perimeter of the exterior of the house. And we've got cedar siding on the house. This side, in my mind, looks really kind of boring and plain, and we definitely want to get it looking a little bit nicer. First off, we need to stain all of the siding, get that all sealed up because it's in good shape and it's in good condition, and we'd like it to stay that way, so that's definitely on the list. I'd like to put some kind of something over the back door, that entranceway, like a cover, so that you don't stand in the rain if you're going in that door. So I think that could be done up to make it look like more of an entrance. And it is the back side of the house, but it's still where people pull up, so I definitely want that side to look a little bit more fancy. We'd like to create some kind of a path to come from the side of the house that wraps around, and then some stairs up onto the back porch on the lower level. And that back porch is right by the lower bedroom on the first floor, so it'd be nice to be able to access that more easily. On the second floor, there's a nice stonework for the siding, but then, of course, the lower level, we want to seal up all of that siding. The banisters, the support railings from the second story all the way down are 4x4 posts, and those are smaller than they really should be. Now, there are some heftier support systems further back, but that's on our list of things to beef up or reinforce so that that deck is stable and lasts a good long time. That bush right up front, that is a tree that was cut down and not fully removed, so that's on the list to remove and clear. And then this corner has a shed underneath the deck, which is a really nice big space that has a good roof that we can store. Most likely it'll be garden supplies and that kind of thing, animal feed. Bob is thinking about maybe putting up some type of awnings for the second story deck so that we can be out there and not always be in full sun. I think that's a fun idea that's worth exploring. And then we've got this side gravelly area. And so we're going to need to do something fun with that. A couple of ideas is, a fire pit with some chairs, maybe some gardens, that pot or that 5-gallon bucket that says bad spot, that's part of the septic system that needs to be repaired. So that's what that marker's for. That won't be staying there forever. And here's that shed that's underneath the deck. We've got our hose spigots in here. That white pipe is the pipe into our water tank. That needs to be insulated. That's on the list of things to be completed before next winter. And there is quite a bit of space in here, so I know we'll really appreciate this storage spot so close to the house. So the rest of this video is going to be a walk down to the water. So we're starting right by the side of the house and we're walking down the land. So it might be a little long. You might want to just put this on, double speed or triple speed if you want to go a little bit faster than what we're walking. But it is so rocky. All of the land on our property that I've noticed so far is just rocks and really hard soil. Looks like it has a lot of clay in it. So as a gardener, it looks like I'm going to be switching to raised bed gardening. In the beautiful state of Illinois, in my backyard, I have the darkest, richest soil for a good 12 inches deep. And it's just, I can grow right in the ground, but I think I'm going to need to switch to raised bed gardening here, which I'm excited for. I think that'll be fun, and it'll be a new challenge and something new for me to learn. Our whole property is on a big hill. Our house is very close to the top of the hill. Not quite exactly at the top, but pretty close to it. And then right now we're heading south. We're heading south to the southern edge of our property, which borders the government land next to Bull Shoals Lake. So right here, it looks like somebody at some point took a bulldozer and just pushed over lots of trees. And so at the southern edge of our properties, there's all these downed trees that are just pushed into a pile, and they're dead, and it's kind of a big old mess. So we'll be clearing that out. Here we've got an ancient deer stand. And this is definitely got to go. I'm absolutely certain it's no longer safe for use, and we're not really interested in pursuing that anyway. Lots of pine trees, lots of oak trees. I'm seeing oak leaves all over the ground. And I'm sure there's lots of other kinds of trees too, but that is not my area of expertise at all. You can see lots of rocks. And at this time, there's no real path to get easily down to the water. Oh yeah, there you can see a bunch of the trees that have been pushed over. So our plan is to create a path to get down to the water easily from our house. We believe that once we have a nice path cleared, that it's probably about a 5-minute walk. This video takes about 8 or 9 minutes for me to get from the house down to the water's edge, because I'm filming and I need to be careful, but also it's just there's no easy path. So right now we're still on our property. But if you see that white post, that is one of the corners of our property. The white posts are marked regularly, and they show the difference between where the government land begins and where the private property is. So now I'm moving from our land onto the government land. And they do maintain that border. So I don't know if you can see, but there is an area that's kind of cleared. And every so often they'll have crews come around just to, there it is, there's the line. You can see that's the line of the property. On the left of that path is us, and on the right is the government property. And so they do maintain that every once in a while. I don't know how often they come through and clear it, but so it's pretty easy to tell. Now we've done some researching, and we do think that we can create a path on the government property from our land down to the water. There's regulations that have to be followed. You can only make it so big. It has to be meandering. You can only remove down trees or trees that are of a small diameter. And so I'm not sure if you have to get a permit or not. We're still researching that. So we're going to figure that out and try and create some kind of path that's easy for us. Now I'm putting the camera down so I can scooch down a big rock and not fall on my head. So that's what that's all about, me just trying not to hurt myself. And then we do have access on the north side of our property as well. Our property on the north and the south borders government lands because we're kind of on a peninsula. And so we can also walk to water on the other side. So that's kind of exciting too. And the northern side's not quite as steep, so it's a little bit easier to get down to the water than this side, but this side is prettier and has bigger water, so it's the more exciting side. And it may not look like it, but it is kind of hard to get through this part. There's a lot of branches that stick out. I don't think a whole lot of people have been in this area. So that's why it's taken me so long to kind of get around everything. And it is winter time, and so the water levels are lower right now. As I understand it, they're going to get higher in the spring and summer, and of course we don't know what that's going to look like. But this is probably the closest point of access from our house to the water. if we zoom in, you can kind of see what the edge looks like there. It's very rocky. And of course, there's some garbage in there that might need to be cleared out. And then you can kind of see, looking back up, where we just came from.